Hello everyone, my name is Tahadar. I'm a software engineer and today I have chosen a technical problem related to ETL process. And I chose this problem because I have never used Snowflake before. Just to work on this project, I had to pass an exam in Snowflake and get the certification. In order to pass the certification, I went through this workshop which is given by Snowflake itself. After completing this workshop, I searched for the guide for the Snowflake exam and I came up with this website with this link. It helped me to identify what are the topics which I need to cover in order to pass the certification. They have even given the percentage, all right, just to just to tell you which topic is more important compared to the other one. So I started to search all of these topics on the official Snowflake documentation website. So I started to search all of these topics one by one, and I started to read all of their documentation just to get the deep understanding about Snowflake. Once I got the deep understanding of Snowflake, I took a mock exam. In order to take a mock exam, I used Test Prep website, which is a very interesting one. It has more than maybe 800 or 1000 MCQs. And once you start getting more than 90% marks in these mock exam, then you are good to go and take an exam. And that's what I did, and I passed with very good marks. So once I first project was to design a solution for a sales company in such a way that all of their data is residing inside AWS, all right, and we have to extract that data, transform it according to the requirements of business, and then upload to the target table. And from that target table we will be using a Power BI, which is a visualization tool. Now let's understand how I started to build the solution for my project. So data is coming from different sources, coming inside AWS, and then my task was to basically fetch all the files present inside AWS and put them inside different set of tables. And if you notice, I have made three different layers. One is landing zone. Let me zoom in. One is landing zone, second is curated zone, and the third is consumption zone. So you can think landing zone as the extract process of ETL, curated zone as the transformation layer, and the consumption zone can be treated as load process in ETL. All right, so these three layers are the part of ETL process. So I will say these set of tables, the set of tables which are present in landing zone will be called as source table, and the set of tables which are present in curated zone, they will be called as stage tables, whereas the consumption zone tables will be called as target tables. Okay, so how did I approach this problem, and what exactly kind of features I used in AWS and Snowflake to make sure that my ETL process runs smoothly? Let me show it to you. Okay, so there were two basic things which I was using just to make sure whenever a new file gets uploaded inside AWS, uh, it gets uploaded inside Snowflake as well. So there is a service inside AWS. That service is called SQS or SNS. These are basically two different services, and both of these services do the same kind of a job for our project. I basically use SNS service because it's a broadcast service and you can do other things as well. But it does not matter for this project. For this particular kind of a project, you can use any kind of a feed, any kind of a service, either SQS or SNS. So let's firstly understand what these services are. So these are basically event notification services. So whenever our new file will get uploaded inside AWS S3 is a bucket, all right, it's a storage inside S3. So SQS service will get triggered. It will get triggered and it will tell the Snow pipe So Snowpipe is basically a feature in Snowflake. So it will communicate SQS service, or you can say SNS service will communicate with Snowpipe of Snowflake. It will tell, okay, new file has been uploaded inside AWS S3 bucket. We don't care from that how our data is coming inside AWS S3. It can be coming from different type of sources, maybe relational databases, from tracking devices. We don't care. So once data is present inside AWS, we can use AWS SNS or maybe SQS service. It doesn't matter what kind of service you are using. So that SNS service will trigger and it will talk to Snowpipe. Hey, I have new files which are present inside AWS. So Snowpipe will start running. It's basically a copy command in Snowflake, and it will copy all the new files inside landing zone. Okay. And as mentioned, I mentioned you earlier. Okay, so for example, there were 100 files and they all have been copied by Snowpipe inside landing zone, and then all of a sudden two more files come in. All right, SNS will tell Snowpipe, hey, there are two more files. So Snowpipe will run again, and it will try to copy all the files which are present inside AWS. So it will try to copy 102 files. So if it tries to cover 102 files, it will be duplication of files as well, duplication of data, which we don't want. So Stream will tell Snowpipe, hey, you don't need to copy duplicate files. You only need to copy the two new files which arrived inside AWS recently. And Snowpipe will listen to a stream and will say, okay, new files, only two files I needed. I want to only copy two files, and will only copy two new files inside landing zone. So once all the so in this way, whenever new file will come, Snowpipe will run. Stream will help Snowpipe to identify only the new coming files, and it will upload them into inside the landing zone. That's all. Now let's come to curated zone. So curated zone is basically the transformation layer inside Snowflake. In order to transfer all of your data from landing zone to curated zone, we can use CDC. And CDC is basically a combination of task and stream. All right. So stream. So task and so basically task and task tree. So these are basically functions which can run on a specified time. So if you have written some kind of a task, and you can mention, okay, hey task, you have to run after every 5 minutes. So after every 5 minutes, it will start running all the SQL queries which you told your task to run it. Or you can maybe generate a task tree. So it means if one task gets started, it will start all of its child task as well. So you can basically generate a tree of tasks. So we can basically use tasks to transform all of our data present in landing zone and apply different kind of transformations. Maybe just divide two columns into one, change the stored date time column into date and time column, and we can just achieve it by using simply task and task tree. But what if new files are keep coming inside landing zone? What will happen? So we need to make sure that we are only applying transformation to the new data which is coming inside landing zone. We don't want to duplicate our data. We don't want to keep applying transformation on the old data as well. So that's why we are using stream again. So here stream is telling task, okay, this is the new data, so you want to only use this new data which came recently inside landing zone and apply transformations, and it will say, okay, it will listen to it, this stream. So task will be using stream just to identify new rows, new data, new files coming inside landing zone, and will be applying transformations and then storing them into a curated zone. Just think of it, landing zone as one schema, curated zone as a second schema, and consumption layer as the third schema. So these are basically three different schemas present inside one database, right? So once we have applied all of our transformation, now it's time to upload our data to the target table. is uploaded to the target table in other words to the consumption zone schema, you can simply connect it with any visualization tool, and that visualization tool can be Power BI, can be Tableau, or can be any other visualization tool which we want to use. But for this particular project I use Power BI. So I simply connected my Snowflake with Power BI, and I generated a report for my Snowflake project. And this is a simple report which you can see. It's not exactly the report which I generated for the project because I don't have access to that project anymore. I have and you can take useful business decision by just generating your reports on Power BI. So hopefully you like my project. Thank you very much. Bye bye.